Hey, what's up? It's been a long time, and it's nice speaking to you guys without a script, no agenda. Sorry for the recent bomb of videos with high ticket closing and all the affiliate videos. If you don't know, recently I made a huge leap in my career and I dissolved my agency and now I'm doing YouTube full time. I've always felt this need to do YouTube ever since my early pharmacy days. And I felt like, hey, it's finally time to chase this dream. I figured out so many things in my life. To make this relatable to you guys, recently I got this email. It's titled Dismissal from Pharmacy School After My First Year. I have someone by the name of Landon. He was telling me that he's a first year student. He watched one of my videos from years ago on YouTube, which is freaking crazy because it's been a long time since I talked about pharmacy. He shot me this letter about failing pharmacy school, and he just wanted to shoot me an email about his experience failing. And he mentioned he hasn't been doing that great in pharmacy school. He was an AB student in undergrad. And then when he got accepted into pharmacy school, he started the initial classes. He wasn't sure if he wanted to be in pharmacy. He only applied to pharmacy school because he was convinced by his dad, who was a farm rep and who talked about the benefits of being a MSL, medical science liaison, which is the dream career for most pharmacists. A lot of my friends are actually MSLs too. What he wanted was a good work-life balance while having a six-figure career right after pharmacy school. And what he originally wanted to do was go to medical school and just become an orthopedic surgeon, specializing in sports medicine and all that sort of stuff, but he didn't believe he could get in, and his dad kind of told him to go this path in life. And I can relate all to this sometimes because, you know, even though my parents growing up, they never forced me to do things like pharmacy or anything like that, I did feel the pressure as like an Asian American to kind of go for these very prestigious careers. You know, it wasn't the only reason. I tell people this in my don't do pharmacy video, that I did it for the money, I did it for the title. But if you know me very well, I've never really been motivated by money too much. I've always been motivated by impact and passion and doing things that I really loved. And I really thought at the time when I was doing pharmacy that it was a good balance of social skills, my love for science, and also balancing the fact that it was an applicable science. Because if you do like biochemistry or anything like that, it's very, doesn't pay very well. Let's put it like that. And I always liked the healthcare field because I was like, my parents are going to get old, they might need my help. And it was just a good way for me to apply that. Landon was actually asking, what are my next steps? What should I do? And I think like a lot of times we have this pressure, let's walk around, of like trying to figure out everything on the first go. So what do? We listen to our parents. They tell us to go down these certain career paths, but take it from someone who is maybe 10 years older than you, maybe 15 years older than you. My dad is long gone, and I hate to say it, I don't know, I hope your dad lives a long, sorry, the camera died, but I hate to say it, one day your dad's gonna pass away too. And I think the problem is that we listen to all these external things and we feel the need to figure out everything on the first try. And take it from someone who's a lot older. I'm 35 now, and I'm probably like at least 10 to 14 years older than you. And my dad is long gone. Oftentimes when we're so young, we listen to people like our parents and we make them the deciding factor. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen to people older than you. Older people have a lot of wisdom, but we should just take it with a grain of salt and realize that these decisions to go into pharmacy school, these decisions to take on massive amounts of debt, it's our responsibility at the end of the day. Unless your parents are paying for that, you're probably going to pay the full consequence for those decisions, right? In terms of what you should do, I know it's very uneasy. I wish there was a really sexy answer of like, you should do PA, you should do this. The truth is it's not that simple because we have to find something that is aligned to us. As I get older, I realize there's just so much I don't know about this world, this universe. But the older I get, I realize that so many of these setbacks, these situations, they lead us to something bigger. And maybe this is divine intervention telling you, hey, pharmacy is not for you. And that's okay because there could be something a lot bigger in the future for you. At the end of the day, there's really no rush. You don't want to be like me and spend those precious 12 years straight from high school, realize that this is not a career that makes you happy. This is not a career that really fulfills you. This is not a career that is really your calling, your mission, your purpose. I know a lot of people like us first generation immigrants and stuff, I don't know what your ethnicity is. Coming from that background, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. Money was always on the top of my mind, and I always wondered, like, how am I going to support a family? How am I going to do all that? And the thing is like, ever since going into the world of entrepreneurship, it's kind of crazy how people make their money. People will make 300, 500K per year just selling like dog toys and stuff like that on Amazon. There's people who just like do recruiting. There's people that do high ticket closing, affiliate marketing, all these different business models. And some of them are really, really, really fun. Some people create software companies. There's just so much to this world. And so sometimes I wonder if the opportunities like for pharmacy, like, because I publicly talked about the opportunities for pharmacy aren't as lucrative as they once were back in the day. Back in the day, like the job growth rate was like 10+%. And I think I checked it recently, it was like 3 now. It used to be in the negatives, so it's a little bit better than before. I think if you can find something that you feel a calling, not something that you like, but feel a calling, a strong mission, really understanding like what breaks your heart, what pisses you off, what are the experiences that you've experienced that you want to help other people with? Or if you're too young to answer that question, what's a big problem that you want to solve? And then finding those people who are solving those problems and just learning from them, absorbing from them. It really helps you kind of think how you can think like these people. And eventually, then you'll start a project, hopefully a lot quicker than I did, because it took me forever to like really jump on the entrepreneurship like train. I'm not saying you should do entrepreneurship, by the way. It's really hard. Don't recommend it for most people. Once you do that, then you can launch a project, you can get an internship, you can figure out your next ways or paths through those people, those guidance, those mentors, those people who have been there where you want to be. I find that so helpful, and that's something I didn't really do that much when I was in pharmacy school, because we didn't have all this cool technology. Like, we had YouTube, but it was very in its infancy. We didn't have ChatGPT or AI or any of this crazy these days. Honestly, I think it's a major blessing to have this sort of stuff with you. But then comes the uneasy part, like, what do you do? And I always think of this as like creative constipation sometimes. I always think about this as like, the harder you push, the harder the answer is to come out. And so like, relax, just take some time. Ever since the ancient Greeks, right? People always talk about their best ideas come from walks, come from sitting meditation, come from driving a car when you're not actively thinking about it. Just trust that if you're motivated to get into pharmacy school, I'm pretty sure you're motivated to figure out your next steps. And I think your best ideas will just come to you. And as long as you're meeting people, I think you're still doing something, right? There's nothing wrong with taking a few months, 1 month, 2 months, even a whole year, just to figure out the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life. And it will come through iterations. So as I'm like shooting this video, I've gone through so many iterations. I remember the days when I was like first on YouTube and I wanted to be a YouTuber. Then I wanted to do copywriting because I needed money, because I was thinking about like quitting pharmacy. And then I got into the world of high ticket closing, and then I got into like high ticket sales consulting and agency work. And now I decided to dissolve all that and just go back to YouTube, because I realized that's my calling. It breaks my heart when people are alone, when they don't have friends. It breaks my heart to know that like creators can't make money doing what they love. I took a look at like the YouTube business, and I remember my biggest growth when I was talking about pharmacy or high ticket closing. And then somewhere along the way, I kind of lost traction because I got distracted. My attention wasn't on the channel anymore, nurturing this audience. And I think it came back at a very unique time. And now, like, with all the knowledge that I've kind of compounded, I know how to make a lot of money just off of a small audience, providing very niche videos. So if you see a lot of like product review videos and all that, there's a whole business strategy behind that, which I can talk about some other time. It took me a long time to acquire all these skills to go to my next step. And even though all my friends, they say that I have all the skills and all that, it's still scary. The next stage is always scary, and it's supposed to be scary. I'm reading this book called The Quantum Leap. If we want something new, something that we need to do is something new, something novel. We have to be uncomfortable. In jiu-jitsu, for example, you don't get better by feeling comfortable, feeling good all the time. Sometimes there's points of painful growth. Even though it's painful in the moment, it's so fulfilling. And that's how I look at these last 5 years since my dad died, since leaving pharmacy. I learned everything from design to how to craft YouTube videos. You can see it in the channel. I learned things like typography, sales, marketing, all these small different things. It really blows my mind on all the skills that I've kind of learned over through the year. The thing is like, I'm still scared sometimes and I still doubt myself, and that's normal. And that's why things like meditation are so important, because you know, that fear, the feeling of the unknown, that's not actual reality sometimes. There's this thought in meditation, Buddhist thought, you are not your thoughts and feelings. I realized that, and I've been through enough of these leaps when I was doing like leaving pharmacy from my dream job, after I went on my interview and like got my dream job interview, but then I was like, this doesn't feel right. I was like, F it. That was a huge shock to me. Or when I like got my first real high ticket sales client and I was on a sales floor, that scared the shit out of me too. It's also scared the shit out of me when I was about to get terminated. I was like, I need to figure this out. I'm sure there'll be a lot of growing pains with something like YouTube for me too. And there's still so much for me to learn. But my point is not to talk about me the whole time. Great things can come out of the void. I know it's very like uneasy right now, but just trust me that everything will work out. Most people that I know, if you cut out all the distraction, cut out porn, cut out like junk food, just focus on nourishing yourself, going on daily walks, getting sun, like these basic things to nourish ourselves. We're creating a healthy brain and a healthy relationship with ourselves, and we'll find our purpose that way. There's a really great book called The Way of the Superior Man. I highly suggest that you read it because it talks about mission, purpose. Even for women, I recommend women to read it. I hope that helps. I hope this helps anyone who was dismissed from pharmacy. If there's anyone who, since I've been on a pharmacy channel for a while before this, if there's anybody that's been dismissed through pharmacy, I'll love your comments below and see what came of your life. You'll be surprised. A lot of people are a lot happier, and I know these people are way happier because I talk to them. They're my personal friends. So yeah, I just want to say, Landon, everything will be okay, bro. Don't worry. If you need anything, just reach out to us as a community. And speaking about community, one of the cool things I want to start doing are community events. So if kind of like speed dating, but for friends, because one of my missions is really to bring people together. I don't think anybody should die feeling like no one cares about them, that they don't have any friends. I want people to feel like they have friends, man. I'm going to be doing a few free events and all that. So if you want that, subscribe to my Refugee Hustle newsletter. I'll make some announcements pretty soon because the YouTube algorithm is a little wonky. I'll also post it to the community channel, to community tabs. But it was really nice just getting out a video, no pressure, just like walking around with my selfie stick in the freaking casino. Feels good again. I bought one of those old Casey Neistat like 70Ds just to talk to camera like this again. I can't wait. It's gonna be super, super fun. Peace, mother people. Bye.